Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Young Black. Uh, Finally got the game Injustice. I finally got to play it. As some of you know, I hope you've been watching enough of my videos by now. You know I'm a big superhero nut. If you can't tell by the hoodies and everything else, I wear a lot of superhero hoodies and T-shirts and stuff like that. But yeah, I was really excited for Injustice. And I'm still excited. I'm not saying I'm not excited about it. Still, now that it's out and I own it. I'm still very excited. I got high hopes for it. I hope it does make it into the Evo circuit. But there are some things about it that I'm disappointed about. The graphics in the game are awesome. All right, I always wanted to have a superhero fighting game that was an authentic superhero fighting game that actually worked. This game works. It's not really a bad game. There's just some things about it that I think they could have fixed or balanced out well. I think the character balancing is a little off. I mean, I found that I tested out a lot of different things in the game, and I found like almost every character in the game has a projectile attack, which I hate. I mean, because when you're online, you're playing people online, all they do is spam the projectile attacks, especially with characters like Deathstroke, which is freaking. I mean, they spam the hell out of that character, right? Deathstroke. And if the character doesn't have a projectile attack, they have something that might as well be a projectile attack. Like even the big brawly characters like Solomon Grundy, Bane, and Doomsday. They have attacks where they throw their whole body at you from across the screen or launch themselves up in the air and come. It's still a projectile. They're just using their self as the projectile. So like when you play online, you see a lot of people using those moves to their advantage because you know the blocking isn't as easy as it could be. I mean, it's easy enough if you hold back like a regular fighting game, unlike a Mortal Kombat where there's actually a block button, right? Which is it's slightly different, because in Mortal Kombat, well, that's actually it's dramatically different because in Mortal Kombat you have to actually press a button to block, which makes it a little easier to block because all you have to do is just hold the button down instead of having to actually hold back, to actually block, but I don't know. I'm having mixed feelings about the game. I didn't get into the story mode yet. I played the what is it, the battles, which is actually arcade mode, and you go to classic, which I liked a lot because I spent a lot of my time in that in battles. Because when you go into that, there's a lot of characters in the game, and when you go into battles and you go to classic, there's an ending. Many people complaining about that it's not an animated video ending, all this. I'm like, it's still cool as hell that each character has their own individual story that comes to a conclusion in the Injustice story, not just the story mode. So for all 20 plus characters, I think they said there is. Yeah, 20 characters. Each one of them has their own ending on top of the story mode, which makes more gameplay, which is really really freaking cool and all that good stuff. But they got extra costumes. I'm not feeling all the DLC and all that shit. I mean, people are going crazy for this DLC, the new 52, all that, buying up all this shit from different places just to get certain costumes and all this mobile connectivity device shit. I think that's bullshit for the simple fact that everybody doesn't have an iPhone or HTC or something like that to download all these apps. So they're kind of leaving out some people. Like I'm not really into phones like that, so I don't own an iPhone or an HTC or none of that. But I do want an iPhone, but they're just crazy expensive to have for the service every month. So I haven't bought one yet, So but I am gonna buy one soon. Okay, but probably within the next hopefully month or two. I plan on getting whatever the newest iPhone is because I always wanted an iPhone, but I just didn't feel like paying that bill every month to have all the features of the phone. It's like $80 or something like that, $65, or some of them even $100. It depends on the service providers. But anyway, they locked a lot of shit into some mobile device unlock shit. Didn't like that too much. Um, the gameplay is it's slower than Mortal Kombat is, but in certain aspects, Mortal Kombat is a better balanced game because the way the characters play, it seems like that you can have a real fight and stand a chance without people spamming certain moves. I mean, you can spam a lot of shit in Mortal Kombat, but it does seem a lot more fair. I mean, in this game, people are spamming like fucking crazy. Like I seen a guy on YouTube play a whole match. Actually, it was on Angry Joe show. I seen it on his video, on his review. People are just using Joker and just shooting from across the screen the whole match, and shooting people down, which is cheap as hell. You know, and then on top of that, Joker not only can Joker shoot from across the screen, he also can throw laughing gas canisters in like two different ways and juggle you from a distance with that. You know, I think they went a little too crazy in this game with the projectiles. Every single character has a projectile attack. You know, and I think that's bullshit. They should have characters that have no projectiles. You know, I mean, people talk shit about Street Fighter and how this, that, and the third, Street Fighter is obsolete. We need a new fighting game. But at least they don't do that type of shit. Street Fighter doesn't have those type of balancing issues, and it's still a fun classic game. Um, I don't know. I just really wanted to fall in love with this game 100%, and I'm disappointed that I couldn't. Not to say I still love it, but when you're playing against somebody who really knows how to manipulate the game and take advantage of everything, it just feels like you're getting beat cheaply. You don't feel like you're really being defeated by somebody who knows how to play the game. You're being defeated by somebody who's manipulating and taking advantage of what is possible in the game. Like if you're playing with somebody like Deathstroke and they're shooting at you from across the screen, shooting at you from across the screen, and then they use the stages, the backgrounds on top of that, like throwing stuff at you from the background, all that type of shit. You can just get killed without even touching anybody. You know, and I think that's utter bullshit. You know, I think the game should be better balanced than that. It should be characters that have no fucking projectiles. Like Bane shouldn't have a projectile, but he doesn't. He has a move where he slides across the screen like at lightning speed, so that might as well be a projectile, right? Doomsday jumps up in the air, comes down at you, might as well be a projectile, right? Now Solomon Grundy really pissed me off because he's a grab character, right? But yet he has a move where he can open up like not sewage, but like swamp water with zombie arms that come out from across the. It's like you can't get a chance to breathe. You know, not that you need a chance to breathe all the time. You know what I mean? I mean, it makes the game more difficult, but it makes it difficult in a real cheap way. You know, I wanted to feel like if I'm playing with Batman, I don't have to spam the grapple or the projectiles just to get across the screen. I want to see guys, you know, dodging in, doing combos, and not using the spam all the time. But when I play online, I see a lot of people just spamming projectiles. I mean, Green Lantern, Raven, fucking the Flash, he's just a human projectile. He just fucking throws himself at you at light speed all over the fucking place, which is fine. You know, I don't mind that about Flash because that's what Flash is. That's what he's supposed to do. But other characters like fucking Solomon Grundy and Bane and Doomsday, I mean, they could have fucking did something. I don't know. I don't mean that they should have been grab characters too, but they could have just did something more unique with those characters. Like Bane should have been more of a grab character. You know, he is a grab character. He has grabs, but not like Solomon Grundy. You know, people spam that fucking charge from across the screen like a motherfucker. Then they have like an EX version where he charges you, flips you over his shoulder, and it comes back with an elbow drop. You know, there's just certain things about the game I just felt like they dropped the ball on a little bit. Um, like I said, with all the DLC, they really pushing a lot of the extra costumes and stuff. They're spread out all across different stores and different ways to unlock new outfits and shit like that. I wish they would have just put them on PSN or Xbox Live or whatever. You could just buy them. You know, instead of having people running around buying multiple copies of the game or unlocking shit on their fucking iPads and shit. I mean, it's just a little ridiculous. It's a game. You just want to get the game and play it. I don't want to have to go through all this extra bullshit to get the full experience out of my game. What the hell is on my hoodie right here? Oh, it's a piece of felt. But anyway, the game is really good though. I mean, if I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I'd say it's like a 7.5, or maybe being generous, I'll give it an 8. You know, just for the simple fact that it has major balancing issues. You know, and some of the, like the ultra attacks or like the special moves, like when Superman hits you up into space and knocks you back down, those look awesome. Like I love that. I love the interactive backgrounds when they're not spammed crazily, and I love the tiered levels where you can knock somebody into like a building and they fly through all that type of. It looks really cool, but on top of all that cool stuff, the combat system could be a lot more intricate. I feel like they not that they dropped the ball, but just that they could have added more fleshed out combat scheme to it. It doesn't feel like Batman's moves. You got to like right up on somebody. I know he's a brawler. Batman should be, you know, right in your face, but he doesn't have much range at all. I mean, you have to be like this close to somebody's face to attack with Batman. Meanwhile, you got somebody like fucking Killer Frost who can hit you from like across the screen, juggle you from across the screen, bounce you. I mean, it's just crazy. So a character like Batman is kind of at a disadvantage. You know, it forces you to play strategically, but at the same time, it's irritating because the other characters don't seem like they're as strategic. You know, I mean, they can be, but players don't go into strategic gameplay. They take the easy way out to get the victories. So you're online and people are just doing whatever the fuck they can to get wins. Like I played a guy, he had like 837 wins and like 175 losses. I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be a monster, and he's just spamming projectiles the whole time. He didn't know how to play the game. He was just spamming projectiles and using the background, throwing stuff at me from a distance. You know, that really pissed me off that he was able to do that. I couldn't even get close to him. I'm in practice mode, mastering combos with Batman, you know, because that's what I play as. You know, I'm a Batman-aholic. You know, so I'm mastering combos as Batman, and I can't even close enough to use the damn combos. You know, what I started doing was using Batman's his unique character trait where he gets the robot bats that fly around him. I use those to send those out and then try to charge in real quick and get some moves off. You know, just to get me in range to do something. You know, and it works some of the time, but most of the time that spamming shit fleshes out more for the other player. You know, so I understand why they do that to get the victories, but it just feels so cheap. And as a gamer, I don't respect it. It's like I don't want to fucking play a game where it does that. So that's one reason why I don't play games online. Like I always tell you guys, I don't play games online because of shit like that. People ruin the fucking experience. I mean, that ruined it for me. You know, if I play online, I'll be playing against like I got a YouTube guy, like one of my fans. He works at Stop and Shop down the block, right? And I actually met him at a midnight launch, and he recognized me from YouTube, and he was like, yeah, we exchanged gamer tags and shit, and he has the game, so I'll play him probably like in a private match, but all that ranked online playing and shit, I mean, it's for the birds because people aren't gonna play fair. You know, people say, well, bullshit, just deal with it and get past it and get nice and play. Well, that's fine, but I want to have an equal opportunity chance to play without having to worry about people spamming. You know, this is why I don't play games online because people ruin the experience. Instead of playing honorably and fair, they take the cheap ass way out. You understand? And leave you sitting there getting your ass whooped, and then you end up irritated. You know, so I'd rather just play the computer. I mean, the computer when you play the battle mode, like the arcade mode, when it gets up to like the last couple guys at the end, like the last three characters, yeah, they start using the projectiles and spamming a little bit, but they still come in to get attacks. You know, they don't have them just sitting across the screen shooting at you with the Joker or spiking you to death from under the ground with Killer Frost all fucking day. You know, I mean, I played some guys online who were really nice who didn't do that. You know, and they were just really nice and just beat the hell out of me, and that's fine. I mean, you beat the hell out of me using your combos, and I'm not blocking or I'm just missing my opportunities. That's fine. But I don't want to get robbed of victory because you're just being cheap and spamming from a distance for a whole 2 rounds. That's bullshit. You understand? And every character should not have a across the screen move. They just shouldn't. It's just bullshit. Or maybe they should have made a way to sidestep projectiles, something so that all the characters have a move from across the screen, but there's a way to actually cancel that out. But there's not. Not that I know of. Maybe I'm missing something. I mean, maybe you guys know something I don't know. But I just feel like the game has a balancing problem. I wanted to make the Evo circuit, but I don't think it is just for that fact because you can really do a lot of shit in this game is not balanced. You can just do a lot of stuff in this game that's just it just doesn't feel like it's fair at all. It just feels like it needs to be tweaked, and some of the characters just need to be fixed. You know, maybe when they add more characters, they'll add a new feature to dodge projectiles or something like that. I don't know, man. But the game is fun. Is it worth $60? Yeah, it's worth the $60 just to see our favorite superheroes going at it. You know, and if you playing against somebody who's the same level as you are in fighting games, you know, and they're not taking advantage of the background and all that crazy shit, it's a fun game. All right, but if you're playing people who like know how to manipulate the system, it's really fucking irritating because even if you're better than them, they can still win by being cheap, which is bullshit, which is why I don't play fucking fighting games online. And then another issue is the lag. Like, I press buttons and it takes like a millisecond before the action happens on screen. And that happens a lot. So not only are you being cheesed to death, even if you do know how to use the combos, they're not going to come out correctly because the button timing is off by a second because you're playing online and internet is not 100% anywhere in the fucking world. You know, so you just at a disadvantage on all ends. And if people just like, oh, a guy was like, oh, just deal with it online. I'm like, I'm not dealing with it. That's bullshit. I paid $60 for this fucking game. It needs to function the way it's supposed to function, right? When I play Street Fighter, Super Street Fighter 4 online, that game it works. Like the online works very well for that. And Marvel vs. Capcom, um, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 rather, but they need to fix that stuff. I mean, if this game is gonna make it to Evo, to me, I mean, maybe the Evo circuit will pick it up regardless of all this stuff. But the Evo circuit they play not through online though. Mostly, I don't think they play machine to machine, two TVs, two machines, like back to back, or one TV, two guys sitting in front of each other playing. So they don't have to worry about the lag and all that type of stuff. But the balancing issues for the game might make it not reach the Evo circuit. I don't care how many people support it. When I bought the game at GameStop, this guy was in the store. I talked to him all the time. He was telling me like, yeah, he supports the game through the website Test Your Might, and they're trying to push the game through to the Evo circuit and get the fighting community behind it. I mean, I haven't been part of the fighting game community in a while, just because fighting games have been really dry. There ain't been too many good ones that have come out, you know. And Capcom seems to be the only guys producing fighting games. I mean, we had Mortal Kombat last year, and then we have this year. Besides that, everything else came from Capcom or Namco with Tekken. But besides those games, there's not much original IP fighting games out. You know, I think Injustice is the first one. This is an original IP fighting game, but this is like the first one in a long time, and it has issues. Um, so is this a buy or a pass? I say it's a buy, like I said, just because if you're a superhero buff, it's cool to fucking see your favorite characters from, you know, your childhood, Batman, Superman. They have a good roster of characters too, and they're very true to their original likenesses. Another thing about the game's story is that this is not the normal Batman, Nightwing, all those characters that we know and love from the comics and the cartoons. This is an original story that is being written through a comic stream right now called Injustice, and it takes place in a parallel dimension. It doesn't take place in the regular DC world. It takes place in a different DC world where Superman becomes some type of super dictator or something like that. But I haven't played story mode yet, you know. But I've been hearing a lot about what the story mode consists of and what happens in the story mode. Where there's gonna be even in the story mode, because the game takes place in a different dimension, the characters in this game even go to another dimension and meet their selves. So Batman fights a different type of Batman in another world. There's two different types of Batman, two different types of the Joker, two different types of Green Lantern. So you see them fighting each other, you know, their selves, like their mirrors. And I thought that was pretty fucking cool, yo. But it's just certain other things about the game. It was just like, I don't know, man. I was like, this shit, some of this shit, the combat could be a lot better. And another thing about fighting games in story mode, the story is what pushes the game in story mode. When I play a fighting game in story mode and the story is really good, I want to keep playing. But they force you to play with multiple characters. So you're not going to be able to know how to play with each character when they first put you into battle with them. So you had a disadvantage there too. So you're just going through the motions to get to the end of the story in the story mode, which doesn't feel too, you know, it doesn't feel too fulfilling to me. Anyway, I like to master a bunch of characters, you know, get really nice, be comfortable with them, and then I play the arcade, get their story down. You know, like I'm maining Batman and Nightwing because I'm a Batmanaholic. So, and Joker, so I'm playing the hell out of them. Then I'm probably gonna go on to like Bane or somebody like that. You know, but the game is good. I think you guys should go pick it up if you're a fan of superhero, you know, superhero stuff, or fighting games in general. If you're a fan, it's worth checking out. It's worth giving a try for damn sure. But just be prepared to be a little irritated and have to go through a little bit of a learning curve with some of the stuff in the game. Real Gamers Stand Up. I'm gonna do another review for something in a minute probably. All right, so you know, comment, rate, subscribe, click the like button, all that good stuff, and I'll see you guys real soon, man.